all along it's all going to be gone before May 31st or Memorial Day. I still believe that. The one rule that's still in effect, and who knows what they're going to do with it, because I don't think it really makes sense anymore, is the 24-hour rule to have a negative COVID test for vaccinated travelers before returning to the United States. They've already gotten rid of that overseas in almost every country. It's time for us to do the same. Let's hope that the reciprocity rules will kick in and they will do just that. But first and foremost, that mask mandate still has to be in effect until May 3rd, and just be aware of that. Of course, in that vein, of course, it came out this week, the FAA levying the highest fine ever, a proposed fine of over $81,000 against a very unruly, disruptive, and violent passenger. And, it was billed as the largest fine ever proposed. That's the key, the word proposed. The FAA is not an enforcement agency. Now let's do the numbers. Over 6,400 reported cases of unruly, disruptive, or violent passengers on planes, an overwhelming number of those involving refusal to wear masks. How many of those people were arrested? Answer, not many. How many of those who were arrested went to jail? Answer, not many. How many of those people who were arrested and went to jail were fined? Not many. And here comes the kicker. These are proposed fines. All the FAA can do is refer to an enforcement agency like the Justice Department. So the fine sounds very impressive, right? Sounds like it could be a deterrent. How many of those fined ever paid them in full? Zero. And how many of those people who were fined ever paid anything? I think maybe 2. So much for a deterrent. But at least they made the announcement this week to make us all feel better. Hopefully, the other problem that we have is alcohol, as you know. Some airlines have brought it back. I keep yelling and screaming that what you need to do is to stop the alcohol sales at the airport. It has nothing to do with people drinking on the plane. The incidents that were happening were people who were already tanked before they got on the plane. Go back to the NFL rule, the fourth quarter alcohol sales. Apply it to the airport retailers. Peg it to people's boarding pass. You cannot be served alcohol within 45 minutes of the boarding time listed on your pass. There you go. Nobody's walking on the plane tanked. Just a thought. All right, let's move on. Understaffing continues to be a huge problem at the very moment that demand is rising almost exponentially. We'll get to airfares in a second. I'm going to tell you my story that just happened to me 3 days ago. Actually, 2 days ago. I was flying from LaGuardia to Cleveland. And on a Wednesday, guess what? The lines were so long, because we're not just talking about understaffed airports and understaffed airlines, not enough pilots, not enough flight attendants. We're talking about understaffed TSA. The lines were so long on Wednesday at LaGuardia that a lot of flights got delayed. They wouldn't even get pushed back from the gate because the flight crews realized they had no passengers. Some planes were short 70 passengers who were still in the security lines, couldn't get through. What made matters difficult and even worse was that by the time they did push back, everybody missed their connecting flights on their onward journey. It's a mess, and this is on a Wednesday. Can you imagine what it is today? And we're not even in summer yet. Now, some airlines are offering bonuses to flight attendants to work more hours. They're doing it for pilots as well, but at the same time, a letter came out this week from Southwest Airlines to their management from their pilots. The pilots writing in saying, "You're overworking us, we're too tired, we're too fatigued, we think it raises safety concerns." Minimum rest time now. And again, all of this is happening at a time when demand is growing and nobody's prepared for it. Airlines are now figuring out the only way they can deal with this is to cut routes and cut flights. JetBlue, on the beginning of coming to summer, has cut, literally eliminated, not flights, 27 routes. Think about that. Southwest Airlines has cut 10% of their flight schedule. United Airlines for May and June cutting 20,000 flights a month. And now we're going to get to my favorite topic now, airfares. It's basic law of supply and demand. You're decreasing capacity. As demand is increasing, there's only one way for fares to go, and that's up, up, and away. And they are. 2 weeks ago, my round-trip airfare from LA to New York was $290. You know what it was last night? I just checked it. $790. And it's going higher, right? They're almost going up 4 times. This is going to be an expensive summer. And there's no solution in sight in the short term Because they haven't been able to staff anything. You know, you can have as many job fairs as you want, but nobody shows up. Nobody shows up. So be aware of that. It's going to get worse before it gets better. What is today? It's April 14th. Actually, yesterday was April 14th, but we'll celebrate it today. What is it? Well, I'll tell you in a second. I was walking down Fifth Avenue during the pandemic, rediscovering my neighborhood, right? It's a place I've lived since I'm 6 months old, and walking through Central Park and walking around the reservoir. But about 90th Street and Fifth Avenue, at the entrance to the Engineers Gate, I noticed something I'd never seen before, because I always pass by in a taxi or a bus or whatever. It was a bronze plaque. I said, I've never seen that before. So I crossed the street, I went over to the wall, and it was a plaque honoring somebody named W.T. Stead. Now, chances are you've never heard of W.T. Stead, S-T-E-A-D. So I took out my cell phone, I took a picture of it, and I went home. And this happened on April 14th, 2020. I got home, I Googled him, I was shocked. Talk about coincidence. W.T. Stead was a passenger who died on the Titanic on April 14th, 1912. And here we are, 110 years later. Who is W.T. Stead? The father of modern investigative reporting. Can you imagine this? And I started researching him, reading all of his books, reading all the stories he wrote, and then reading all the books that he liked to read. I'm still going through them. Amazing stuff that you can discover when you're walking around Manhattan. What was he doing on the Titanic? He was invited to Carnegie Hall by President Taft to attend a peace conference. Well, he never made it. But in any case, happy Titanic Remembrance Day. And there you go. Just thought I'd share that. Okay. Now, let's move on to some other stuff. Interesting development here. And it just sort of slipped through the cracks as a news release, but I saw it. And think about how many years airlines have been spending trying to figure out what's the best way, the most efficient way to board an aircraft. You board from the front to the back. You board from the back to the front. You board windows first and then aisles. You board by class. None of it works. Zero. Well, guess what? We're going back to the future. Frontier in Denver has come up with a solution. They don't care about jetways anymore. In fact, they want to get rid of them. And you know what they're going to do? Back to the future. Stairs up to the plane, both in the front and the rear, and you'll go outside and board the plane. And you know what? They're going to ditch those jet bridges in Denver, and they figure out that can save them at least 20 to 25 minutes per flight, per departure and per arrival. You know what? In the event of a problem, go back to manual. Jet bridge is not always the best answer. Plus, how many times have you landed at an airport when the jet bridge wasn't available, right? You don't need a jet bridge to get off the plane. It's called portable stairs. It's as simple as that. So I'll be interested to see if that works. I hope it does. And now let's go to some questions here. Cindy's saying hi from New York. Willie's saying, I was very surprised to get a compensation voucher almost double the value of my ticket yesterday, considering the delay wasn't Southwest's fault. All right. Shout out to Southwest. Sandy's saying hello from Charlotte. Colleen Casey's saying amazing story about W.T. Stead. Look him up. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Petronilli saying hello from Tanzania. You know what's coming up. That's Miss Monday. We're having the big premiere in New York, but it also premieres on WTTW in Chicago and then throughout the PBS network affiliate stations. That's our Royal Tour of Tanzania special with the president, Samia Suluhu Hassan, who today was at the White House meeting with Kamala Harris and other government officials. She's coming up to New York for the premiere as well. So I hope you get a chance to watch it. If you miss it on PBS, that's okay. It's available on Amazon Prime and also Apple TV Plus, along with many of our other Royal Tour specials with heads of state. Okay. Here we go. Good morning from LA, says Patrick. I'm assuming you're off the ship. Greeting from Japan from Ju. She's always saying hi from Japan. Greetings from the global experience in Arusha in Tanzania. Of course, we know what that is, Mount Kilimanjaro. Ismail, thanks for saying hi. Mike saying hi from Vail. Sue saying hi from Washington State. Where in Washington State? And happy Good Friday to you. Happy Passover as well. Linda's saying bonjour from Ventura. Oh, yes, of course, where everybody learns their French. Peter Coe from beautiful Madison, Wisconsin. I concur. Madison, Wisconsin is always beautiful, but of course I'm biased. I went to school there. Another greetings from Tanzania from Emma. Najib is saying greetings from Tanzania. Ben is saying greetings from Tanzania. He's now guiding a group through the Serengeti. I'm jealous. My friend Peter's on board from Rwanda, from Kigali. I just talked to Peter yesterday. Willie's saying good morning from Denver. Hope everyone's doing well. Speaking of Denver, I will be in Denver on the 30th of April and the 1st of May, speaking at the Travel and Adventure Show at the Convention Center. I hope you'll come out and hear me or see me. Robin's saying hello from Williamsburg. Robin's always checking in. Joel's saying, I am from Arusha, Tanzania. There we go. You can't wait to see the movie. Well, you'll see it. It's going to air. There'll also be a premiere in Tanzania on the 28th of this month in Dar es Salaam. Okay, listen to this. Peter says this, and this is Peter Coe saying this, and I need to mention this. Remember when I talked about airfares being outrageous? Yes, in the United States, they're outrageous. In Europe, they have flatlined. Round trip from New York to Ireland is $5.99. Round trip from New York to Lisbon is less than that, right? Round trip from New York to LA is $7.90. Where do you want to go? Peter now says Delta is now selling round trip from many cities to Panama City for $296. Camilla's saying hello from Tucson. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm supposed to raise my right hand to Phil. There you go. Camilla's saying hello. I said from Tucson. Robert's saying hello from Orlando. Okay. Stephen says Turkish barbers are known to be one of the world's best. Congratulations to your wife for the nice trim you are sporting. Yes, but it wasn't a Turkish barber. Nope, New York all the way. But Turkish barbers do the best shaves. Unbelievable. They do a trim. I don't know shave. Patricia's saying the drive market will be strong. You're not kidding. You know, fuel would have to go to $11 a gallon to get to a tipping point for people not to go in their cars this summer. Because if you do the math, a $350 ticket for a family of four is $1,400. You get all four people crammed in the car, and right now, even if gas prices go to $9 or $10 a gallon, you're adding about $250 to $300 to the cost of the trip. A whole lot better than $1,400. Okay, let's see what happens here. Sandy's saying hello from Charlotte. Okay. Ben's saying we'll be watching the Tanzania Royal Tour. You got it. Okay. Oh, I see a lot of you guys are coming in for the premiere. Okay. Justin says, what will they do for those with mobility issues? You're absolutely right. We're talking about jetways versus the portable stairs. Well, it is a continuing problem. The example I'll give you is the Burbank Airport in Los Angeles. They don't have jetways at all. And they have not come up with a workable solution for people who are in wheelchairs. In fact, it's not only not a workable solution, it's an embarrassing, awkward, and unsafe solution. For many people who have mobility issues and are in a wheelchair, the only way to board that plane, they put you in a cherry picker and somehow get you to the front of the plane. Not good. I understand the need for the accessibility, but there has to be a portable accessibility better than that. And hopefully someone will invent it, because let's not forget, 19% of the American public has a disability. It could be sight, it could be hearing, it could be mobility. But regardless of the original ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, not enough has been done. Name one airline counter that's at wheelchair height. What are they thinking? Think about that. And name one hotel check-in desk that's at wheelchair height. Now, if 19% of the American public has a disability, why are only 6% of cruise ship cabins wheelchair accessible? I'm missing the point here. All right, if you're going to do it, dive in all the way. Okay, Karina wants to know, do you need to enter a U.S. passport number when booking a flight to Sweden, waiting for a child's passport? To book a flight to Sweden? No. To go through the airport to get on the flight to Sweden, better have the passport. Joy says, hi, Peter, I want to go to Athens September 17th. Should I purchase airline tickets now or wait until later in the summer? Well, you mentioned September 17th. That's key. Anything after September 15th is going to be dirt cheap, relatively speaking. So you don't have to do it now, but sometime in June, right? Somewhere around, 54 days out, maybe late June, that's when you do it, okay? Early August. Okay. Pat's saying Denver in the winter could be a little cold and wet walking to the plane. You know what? They can figure that out. Look, the year is 2022. By the way, the NFL plays in snow, and we're not asking anybody to run with a football. Figure out how to make a safe walk from the terminal to the plane, and all will be forgiven. It's not difficult. It just gets down to some money. Jimmy says, am I still in Cleveland? I heard you on Jimmy yesterday. Have a great weekend. No, I was in Cleveland yesterday, flew to New York. I'm right now here, as I said before, in Rockaway in Queens at the Rockaway Hotel. And in fact, our show this weekend, not far from here, will be from the Opera House Hotel in the Bronx. Bet you didn't know there was an opera house in the Bronx. Great history there. Wait till you hear who performed there. It's now a hotel. That's where we're coming from this Saturday, of course, between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you miss it and can't get it, go to our website, petergreenberg.com. We stream it live starting at about 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. It's be tomorrow, and it's also available as a podcast as well. All right. My friend Jane Lasky, hi from Tahoe. Miss you, Peter. Miss you, Jane. Stephen Sturm, my old buddy. Hello, how are you? Emma's saying Asante Sana right back, and Caribou. Okay. Bellingham, Washington's checking in with Sue. That's where she's from. Iris is saying hello from Queens. Hey, hello right back. We're in Queens. Thank you, Iris. Torrance, Brenda White and Torrance. Evelyn is saying greetings from Keystone. Happy Passover, happy Easter, happy Ramadan. Covering all the bases, and you're absolutely right. Greetings from Flushing. We met over a decade ago when I was working with Qantas at JFK, and you were doing a story on the Concorde. I was. That was 2000, more than a decade ago. Concorde stopped flying in 2003. So let's all feel old together, shall we? Tisha says, random question, Peter. Do you drink coffee when you travel to stay awake or not at all? I don't drink coffee at all. Never have. I don't drink tea. When I'm on a plane, I will cheat and have a club soda, or better, even seltzer. And if I'm really cheating, I might have a ginger ale or an apple juice. That's it. And no alcohol on the plane ever at altitude. That's suicidal. Okay. Gary says, I'll be spending an afternoon and evening in Rome after my cruise before heading home the same day. Already did the touristy stuff. What can you recommend? I'm going to give you a restaurant. I've been going to this restaurant for over 25 years. Not easy to find, but any concierge can find it for you. It's called Il Piperno, Piperno. Very cool, old school restaurant. And what do they specialize in? Nothing but, I hope you like them, artichokes. And every different kind of preparation you can imagine. Check it out, Il Piperno. Okay. Arusha is saying greetings from Tanzania. And good, well, I hope you get a chance to watch it. Rob New is saying, seeing you in a few. My good friend Rob out there in Colorado. His daughter Lauren is my unofficial radio assistant. So I'm looking forward to seeing her. And that'll be the 29th, 30th, 1st, and 2nd of May. So that last weekend in April, and we'll talk to you then. All right. Gina's saying hi from shaky San Diego. Are you telling me something I should know, like on the Richter scale? Let me know more. All right, here's one from San Jose from Joan. We think the airline should stop allowing carry-on luggage. It would take so much less time to board and deplane. Well, here's the myth. I'm going to set it straight. A couple of years ago, I was at a counter at Delta Airlines in Atlanta, and the counter had a glass top, and under the glass top was a memo from the Delta officials to the gate agents, giving them the truth. I took a picture of it. I posted that picture. And what that chart was on that counter was a list of every aircraft type that Delta flies, the number of passengers it could carry, and the number, in the worst case scenario, of carry-on bags that could have been accommodated on that aircraft. And in every single case in that chart, if it carried 150 passengers, they could only take 70 bags. But each passenger has a carry-on bag. That's why you see the pileup at the gates, pileups on the jetways, people going to great lengths to try to board first to snag every available space they can. So it's a myth that they've designed planes for the amount of carry-on that we're taking. However, when airlines are charging $25, $35, $45, $50 to check in a bag, and your bag can fit in the overhead compartment, I get it. I do the same thing. Now, I'm a little bit different. I believe there are only two kinds of airline bags, carry-on and lost, to begin with. You know that. And I don't check bags, I FedEx them. But that's a whole other story. The most important thing here is that the airlines will also tell you, oh, you can put it in the seat in front of you, under the seat in front of you. That's also a myth, because in later generation aircraft, what's in that seat underneath you, in front of you? It's the components to the electronic system for their onboard entertainment. There is no space. You can't fit anything under there. Maybe a laptop, but you wouldn't want to put the laptop on the floor. So it's a problem, and nobody wants to come to grips with it. Nobody wants to admit it, but that chart said it all. You know, if you have an Airbus, 320, and it can only take 50 bags, you got a problem before anybody ever gets on the plane. Okay. All right. Here it comes. Sandy's been asking this question. It looks like the GEM, the Grand Egyptian Museum, is going to open finally on November 28th. So that's really good. We will double check that again for you because they keep on sliding the date. Another Egypt question. Am leaving for Egypt in a couple of weeks, have been unable to obtain Egyptian pounds from several banks. Do you know the reason for this? Yeah, nobody wants them. What you're looking for convenience is going to be nothing but an inconvenience. First of all, here's what you want to do. Before you leave home, check with your bank that issues your ATM card or your debit card, and find out if it's a no fee. At certain tier levels at every bank, they offer you, even investment companies like Charles Schwab and others will say, we will not charge you any foreign fees to use your ATM card or your debit card. And then what you do, if you really want to feel safe, I mean, when was the last time you heard the words traveler's check, right? All the traveler's check is an interest-free loan you're giving American Express. But if you want to feel safe, maybe you get a couple $100 in traveler's checks and keep them in a safe place, but you probably will never have to use them if you use your ATM card strategically. You go to local banks, not airport ATMs and not the money changers at the airport, so you don't get hosed on commissions, and you just take out of the ATM in local currency what you think you're going to need. Not huge amounts of currency, just what you think you need. And there you go. So Egyptian pounds, nobody cares about that. Trust me. They don't care about Hungarian forints either. They don't care about, about Turkish lira. Euros will work, dollars will work, and you'll get the local currency in local currency at the ATM when you get there. Just make sure you're not having a banking institution that's charging you a $5 fee every time you do it. Okay? All right. Sue says ginger ale is the best to drink on airplanes. Well, thank you, Sue. I'll use you as an excuse every time I order. Mubarak is saying I'm from Tanzania. Congratulations. Greetings from in Cabo. All right, in Cabo Verde. Oh, we know that. Okay. Cesare Francis is in the crater in the Ngorongoro in Tanzania. Chris, we got a big African contingent today. Chris is calling in from Uganda. Gina now has reported why she said shaky San Diego. An earthquake last night off Ensenada, 4.6 magnitude. Hopefully no damage or injuries. Let us know, Gina. Another high from the crater. April, greetings from sunny Las Vegas. Oh, here's a little statistic you didn't know. Up until last year, what was the busiest airport in the world? For 22 straight years, it was Atlanta. Then during the pandemic in 2020, it fell off the charts. And it was taken over by Guangzhou in China. Well, guess what? Atlanta's back, followed by Dallas, followed by Denver. That's a surprise. Followed by Chicago and LAX. But here's the big surprise question. What's the 10th busiest airport in the world? Anybody want to guess? It'll give you an idea of where we're spending our money now. In the post-pandemic world, it's Las Vegas. Who knew? All right, here we go. I read Southwest is thinking about starting to assign seats. Have you heard more on this? Every airline's trying to figure out how to maximize revenue for their seats. You know, the Southwest had the A group and then the A, B, and C boarding process. They may go to that for their A group listings to actually premiumize their seats. But doesn't mean, look, For me, I never play that game with Southwest. What do? 24 or 23 hours and 59 minutes before my flight, I log on to Southwest and get my boarding pass. And I'm in the A group. That's all I need. Give me a window seat. I know someone's going to be sitting next to me in the center and the window and the aisle. I'll take the window, put the headphones on. I'm good. Okay. Marisha says, will the Royal Tour be an ongoing event? Well, we've done the Royal Tour since 2000. So we've done it for 22 years. We've done it with everybody from the King of Jordan to the Prime Minister of New Zealand, the President of Ecuador, the Prime Minister of Jamaica. We've done it with the President of Rwanda, Netanyahu in Israel, and many, many others, the Prime Minister of Poland. And of course, this year, starting Monday, the President of Tanzania. Okay. Chris is talking about the gorilla trekking experience in Uganda. We understand that. And another hello from Tumaini in Tanzania. Patty Parker is saying, if you open a free checking account with Charles Schwab, their ATM card refunds any fees you get charged at international ATMs. There you go. There's just one of them. There are others that do the same thing. Hey, time for our trivia test. And our question of the day, no cheating, because I'm going to ask you the answer quickly, so nobody gets a chance to Google it. What is the only country in the world not to have a rectangular or square flag? Want to hear it again? The only country in the world not to have a rectangular or square flag. I'll give you about a minute. We'll see who gets it. And in the meantime, let's go to the photo of the week. I got some time here. Let's do it. And there it is. Anybody want to guess where that is? Bet you won't get it. It's from a very favorite place of mine. It's the old town in Estonia, in Tallinn. And the person who took that picture is Henrik Jeppesen. Congratulations. He says, I'm from Denmark, but I've lived in Tallinn since February. Estonia has some of the cleanest air in the world. How about that? And that's from somebody who lives in Denmark. Not a bad deal. By the way, try Slovenia too. Love that country. Get to Lake Bled early in the morning and you'll see why. All right, let's go to some of your questions that you sent in. From Zach, when's the best time to book flights to Colombia for December? I need more specific information, Zach. Like if it's after December 15th, book it now. If it's before December 15th, you've got some time. Kathy says, can I recommend a good travel insurance? That's an entire show, Kathy, because there's flight insurance, there's trip cancellation and interruption insurance, and then there's medical evacuation and repatriation insurance. You know what I'll do? Next week, I'll go through all of it for you and tell you what you need to know. Some of it you don't need to know at all, but at least now you know you don't need to know it. And we'll do that next week. Gary says, after finishing a cruise, we'll have an afternoon and evening in Rome. Oh, I already answered that question. Madison says, is Japan open for American tourists? Will I need proof of a booster? Two questions here. Japan is slowly starting to open. It's not going to be rocketing open, but it's not about a booster. It's about have you been at least double vaccinated within 270 days. Some countries, by the way, do the cutoff at 180 days. That's 6 months. Israel's one of those. So if you haven't had the second booster yet and you qualify for it, do it. That just extends your validity to be able to go anywhere. Okay. Amy says, on my flight, everyone had their masks off for a good hour to eat and drink. The whole flight was 2 hours long. I don't get why masks are still mandatory when we have them off in the air. Look, it's a bad game we're all playing now with all of the best intentions. Look, I play by the rules. I wear my mask. I think because we have to. However, the science leads me to believe that the air ventilation systems and most importantly, the air recirculation systems on planes do such a great job of bringing in new air and purging out old air every 3 minutes that the reason why we're wearing masks is more or less a reaction to the vaccination levels not being as high as they should be. But if you take a look, the metric that we should be looking at is not the number of cases, but the number of vaccinations, not the number of cases, but the number of hospitalizations. And where we are right now, the hospitalization numbers are declining, even as the case numbers of the variants are rising, but the hospitalization numbers are declining. That should give you a pretty good indication that we're on the road to managing this. Not eradicating it, but managing it, which is why I think before Memorial Day, the masks will all be gone. They've lost scientific favor. Not about popularity. They've lost scientific favor. Okay, here we go. Oh, here's one from Jim. Oh, thanks for the self-serving question. Where can I watch the entire Royal Tour series? Most of it is available on Amazon Prime, so check it out. Elaine, what is the current vaccine requirement for Turkey? Well, interestingly enough, as of the 17th of April, you do not have to show a vaccination, proof of vaccination you have to show proof of vaccination. You don't have to get the test to go to Turkey. All right, that's changing as of April 17th, which is literally 3 days from now, 2 days from now. Here's one from Fran. Which airline do I think is best now for a last-minute cheaper flight? I used to rely on Southwest, but it seems as if they're now even more expensive than United. Here's the news bulletin. They're all expensive now. They're all expensive now. Now, there are some new entrants that are somewhat more expensive. Breeze, if you have a route that they fly that you want to be on. Avelo, those are two newcomers that are offering relatively inexpensive fares. But by and large, you're not going to see a great deal of price differentiation right now between a Southwest flight and an American, United, or Delta flight on routes in which they compete because of capacity issues. You got to get a seat first, and that seat's going to cost you. It's a sad state of affairs. Obviously, we'll be monitoring it, but that's that. All right, let's keep going down here. Okay, thank you for that information on the ATM. We have some answers on the flag. A couple of people got it right off the top. Evelyn got it right. Travon got it right. Anybody else? Oh, Robin DiCarlo got it right. Almost everybody got it right. I know you cheated. You looked it up. The answer is Nepal. Okay, next week, I'm going to make it tougher. I'm going to make it tougher for you next week. All right, I'm scrolling up for more questions here. Hold on a second, and we'll deal with it. Okay. Some other restaurants in Galleria Borghese in Rome. Okay. We'll see you next week from Ishmael. All right, I'm looking down here. Everybody got Nepal. Hey, I made it too easy. Okay. You're not going to get off that easy next week. Okay. Sorry. Here's one from Robert. Anything special to see around Halifax? I love Halifax. I love all of Nova Scotia. Use Halifax as your hub and start driving up to Cape Breton, Peggy's Cove. Early in the morning or late in the afternoon when it's not overly touristed, it's gorgeous. And of course, the seafood there is amazing. It's where the Titanic was headed. So speaking of Titanic Remembrance Day, the only problem I have with Halifax are the Canadians who think they have to apologize for it. You have nothing to apologize. I love Halifax. And if you're living in the New York area, and you're in Canada. Yay. Okay. Now, before I run off, because we've got some broadcasting to do today, a couple of reminders again. The Royal Tour of Tanzania premiering. If you're in the Chicago area, you can watch it on WTTW on Monday evening. After that, on your local PBS station around the country. If you have trouble finding it, it will be available on Amazon Prime and also Apple TV+. Radio show tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time from the Bronx. And a lot of remembrances there since I went to school there for high school. I survived school there, but we'll talk about that later. And then, of course, we'll see you on the radio. We'll see you on television on CBS. And if you're going to the airport, get there early because the TSA is clearly understaffed. I'll see you next week, everybody. Please be safe and have a great holiday weekend.